red velvet pound cake, anyone? Y'all, me and this icing almost didn't make it, but I was able to pull it off. I'm gonna show you all how you make an icing and you don't like it or a glaze and you take it off and you redo it and you save the cake. Don't throw away that whole cake. That cake is still good. We're gonna make it work, y'all. Hey, I'm Ashley. If y'all haven't met me before, aka Miss Whipper Like Butter. Y'all, this is a mile high red velvet pound cake. The base of a mile high pound cake is 4 cups of flour, 4 cups of sugar, 4 sticks of butter, and 10 eggs. Yes, 10 eggs, honey, all in this pound cake. It's absolutely a delicious pound cake. I made different variations of it. You can find it on my channel. But I'm gonna show y'all how to make this one today. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna show y'all how we do it. Let's go. So we got to start off with whipping that butter. So we're going to add our 4 sticks of room temperature butter to our mixer and get it blended. And y'all see how those sticks fall into that bowl? They're like soft to the touch, but they're not like really bendable and they're not really cold, just a little bit in the middle. That's how you want your butter to be. All right, you can put a finger imprint in them, but your finger doesn't go all the way through. They shouldn't be mushy or melted down. We slowly added our sugar. We let that mix until it was like room temperature, okay? And then we're going to go in and scrape down the sides of our bowl, all right, before we add our vanilla extract. Pop that right in there. And I gave it a little bit more of a mix because my butter and my sugar need to blend a little bit more after I scrape down the sides of the bowl. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our 10 large eggs, which are at room temperature. We're going to add them one at a time into our cake batter. All right, so you add one and you blend until it's well blended. Now, sometimes, two pop in there or whatever, it's going to be okay. But we're going to add them one at a time. Eggs help with building up that height that you have in your pound cake, all right? And also the process of mixing the butter and the sugar, it incorporates air into the batter. So I'm going in again and I'm scraping down the sides of the bowl. So you just do this like as much as you think is needed. Like I saw it building up and stuff like that. I don't always scrape down the sides of the bowl that often, but sometimes I do. So we're adding in our cocoa. We're just using regular unsweetened cocoa for this recipe. I almost added that dark chocolate, but I was like, a little brownie flavor. It's not going to be the same thing as regular red velvet, so I'm going to leave it alone this time. All right, so I added my food coloring in. We only using a half a tablespoon of this this red gel food coloring, y'all. I love this. I used the liquid last time. The color wasn't as popping as this. I really liked it. It didn't take that much at all. I bought the big old bottle for nothing, but hey, it's cool because it was worth it. Because of the color. Even adding the flour. All right, so we're adding the flour and which already has the salt and the baking powder added. You don't have to add salt or baking powder to pound cakes, but that is my preference. Salt balances flavor, and the baking powder gives the pound cake a little extra lift. All right, so we're adding that flour. Make sure we're alternating with our room temperature buttermilk, and we're just going back and forth, and we're going to make sure that we end with flour, okay, to make sure it's all binded together. So I'm going to show you all again the process and show you all how once that flour is just mixed, not completely like all the edges and all that, just when the white part starts going away, then I come in and I add the buttermilk. It skipped a little bit, but y'all gonna get the gist of it. This is sped up version, but we still alternating. So you see, as soon as that got incorporated, I went ahead and add the flour. All right, and we're going to keep going until that's blended, but we're going to leave a little bit because we're going to mix by hand, right? All right, we're adding our vinegar here for our last mix before we mix by hand. And I just made sure, blend it up well into the batter. Our oven is already preheated at 325 degrees, so it's ready to go. We're going to prep our pan and we're going to place it in the oven, y'all. This cake won't debate for it. Like an hour 45, almost 2 hours. My highs at least an hour and a half, but the cake is done when it's done. We did the toothpick test and it's all good. So we sprayed the hell out of that pan, coming in with my pastry brush, just giving it a nice brush so I'll get all the baking spray all nice and even in the pan. All right, and once we're done with that, of course, we're gonna lay that cake batter. I lay my cake batter in 2 parts because I don't want any tunnels or anything in my cake. Y'all have another recommendation? Let me know. This process works for me, but I'm always open to other ideas. You know, if you don't have Lazy Susan, make sure you get one. I use it in all my recipes and see how it's so convenient with me turning this pan. I love it for when I'm laying my cake batter, and I also love it for when I'm making my adding my icings and glazes to the cake. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and finish off with layer number 2. And of course, we're gonna smooth the top of our pan. Always make sure you smooth the top of your pan. Sometimes you know your cakes are coming out lopsided or they're coming out a little funky at the top and stuff like that. And it may be because you didn't smooth it or you didn't smooth it enough. That's what I like about the Lazy Susan, because I can get a real nice smooth on top. Tap, tap, tap. Here we go. You can get the Lazy Susan in my Amazon store, linked in the description as well. So we let this cool for 20 minutes and we flip that thing over. And y'all look, slid right up out that pan. All right, so let me show y'all how I started off with the icing, y'all, and I had to save it. I don't know what was going on. I don't think it was the attachment. I used the same ingredients. I just used a little less of them for the second round. So I put my first layer on this cake, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But I was like, it's like as it started dripping down the sides of the cake, I was like, dang, I want to like add a second layer so it could be a little bit thicker. And then I added the second layer, and it started looking like what I call broken on the sides, and it just wasn't doing what I wanted to do. So I fixed it. Now I should have recorded that part, but I was so mad at that point I had the camera off. But to fix it, you can just place your cake on top of a cooling rack, and then go ahead and place parchment paper under there and use a spatula and remove the icing. You can remove as much as you can. You can only remove so much. So I redid the icing, just made it thicker, okay? And I went ahead and added it to my cake like so. All right, I like this much better. It was a little process too, but you know, sometimes it just goes like that. You do what you got to do, right? So I'm adding some chopped pecans on top of here because you know it's all nice and pretty now. We saved it. I'm so happy. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and cut that cake, y'all, because you know we got to make sure that the cake got done all through and through and it's all nice and pretty and we got a nice pretty slice. And fortunately we did. You know, that is always the part you get like so nervous about when you're getting ready to cut that cake, right? Because you never know how a pound cake is going to come out until you cut it. But thankfully it came out so pretty. And we're going to get into the taste test. Let's go. Okay, y'all know we're going to start at the bottom. That moisture though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The cake by itself. But I'm gonna try it with some ice. I almost went for just cake again. You know the icing makes the red velvet. Mhm. Mhm. That's good. Let me taste a little more. Mhm. Okay, y'all see I'm already getting carried away. This cake, like just the cake, like usually I really am going for the icing for red velvet, but like the cake itself, the flavor itself is amazing. So you can grab the recipe in the description box, or it's also pinned to the first link in the comments. You can go to my website, get the recipe, click the jump to recipe button, it'll take you right there to it. Thank y'all again for y'all support, and I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.